All right, so we're gonna continue with the top 10 list. We already finished with QBs. Now we're going on the running backs. Of course, the first running back we have is Derrick Henry, the NFL's rushing leader. Um, he actually had 1,540 yards this year with 16 touchdowns. Just unbelievable. Of course, Nick Chubb led the league in rushing, and then Derrick Henry just stole it back. And then they went on a playoff run where they relied on Derrick Henry. First game they went to New England, he had 34 carries for 182 yards. That is ridiculous. Like 182 yards on 34 carries. That's 5.3. That's 5.3 per carry in the National Football League. That ain't right. He's unbelievable. He's talented. I just think that he needs to be more consistent in the beginning of the year, but nonetheless, he still led the league in rushing. And now, the second game they went into Baltimore, he had 30 carries for 195 yards. That is 6.5 per carry. Every time, that's 2 carries is a first down. Like that is unbelievable. And then, of course, he threw a touchdown in that game. Like, he is unbelievable. Derrick Henry is, by far, going forward, is the best running back in the league. Second, Nick Chubb. He's a second-year player. This year, he had 1,500 yards. He basically had 1,500 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. He's unbelievable. I think that if the Browns played more through Nick Chubb, I think they would be an unbelievable team. They wouldn't go. Where did they go this year? 7-9 or 6-10. They wouldn't have gone that if they played through him, because Nick Chubb, he's just. It seems that what he did at Georgia, he's just taking it straight to what he's doing in the NFL. And he's my second ranked running back. 3, Christian McCaffrey. Now, Christian McCaffrey completely carried the Panthers' offense. Outside of Christian McCaffrey, the Panthers had 0 offense. He's catching, he's rushing 1,000 and 1,000. 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving. Like, he's just carrying. He's carrying. He's a workhorse. And he's a damn good workhorse. 1,300 yards rushing, 15 rushing touchdowns, 1,000 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. That's about 19 touchdowns just by himself. And his quarterback play is so inconsistent. Well, Cam Newton only played for 2 games? So that's washed. And then he's behind Kyle Allen. And then who did they bring in? Who's the other kid? From West Virginia. They're both trash right now, at least. And he's just carrying that team right now. And he's the third, because I'm not sure how many running backs could be able to do 1,000 and 1,000. He's just unbelievable. Okay. Fourth, we got Zeke Elliott. Yeah, he's great. This year he had 1,300 yards. This year he had 1,300 yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, and he had 2 receiving. He played really good this year. Well, he played really good in the stat sheet. Of course, he had games where he didn't get it going, and then games where he did get it going. That has parts to do with the offensive line not being the same or what it usually is. The offensive line took a step back, so of course it's going to have effect on the runner unless you're Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's actually next. He's 5th on this list. Of course, he got injured. He missed 3 games, but he still ran for 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's good. That offensive line is trash, so him running for 1,000 yards is probably way more, because like that offensive line is terrible. We know it was terrible. They just haven't fixed it. It's his second year. First year he ran for 1,300. If they get in the offensive line, I believe that he can be one of the He can go for 2,000 with a good offensive line. He can go for 2,000. He is a trash when he's going for 1,300 and 1,000 missing 3 games. But yeah, if they get him offensive line, he can go for 2,000. Dalvin Cook. Now he missed 2 games, and he went for 1,100 yards with 13 touchdowns. That is unbelievable. Part of Kirk Cousins' success is behind Dalvin Cook. Once Dalvin Cook gets going, they can get the play action, and then they can just get going just like that. I believe that just Dalvin Cook, he's just a level low, and he's still unbelievable. Now, Chris Carson, he did have a season. I think he did have a season and an injury. He ran for 1,200 yards. Of course, they had to sign Marshawn Lynch and Travis Homer because him and Rashad Penny both left the game. Well, both weren't able to play in the playoff game. I think there's no doubt in my mind if Chris Carson was healthy, they would have won. They could have won all the way. With Chris Carson healthy, that was most scary about the Seahawks is that they have a rushing attack that nobody can stop. And if they were both healthy, there was no question in my mind they could have went all the way. They definitely would have beat Green Bay. And then it just would have been a battle in San Francisco like it was all year. 8th, Leonard Fournette. He played all but 1 game. He had 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette, he's great, but at the same time, he's a little bit too inconsistent. He obviously is. I don't know. He's not as fast as he was in college, and he's just not playing the same as I thought he would play. He's just not as good as I really think, and he's still a top 10 running back, no question. He's so inconsistent, and if he plays better, then most definitely he'll be that guy. 9th is, of course, rookie running back, should have been offensive player of the year in Josh Jacobs, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's unbelievable. He only played 13 games as well. 13 games and he got 1,100 yards. That's unbelievable. I'm not sure if there's many running backs that could have been able to put up those kind of numbers. He has a lot of potential. And he was just balling. Of course, the Raiders went like 8-8 or 7-9. But he's part of the reason they even won 7 games. Josh Jacobs he's just great. With 4.8 yards per attempt. Now, 10th is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is great. Right here, we see that he had 1,100 yards and 5 touchdowns with 3 receiving. So 8 total touchdowns this year. Of course, Cincinnati was a terrible team. They went 2-14, I believe, beating the Jets and the Browns. Cincinnati is just they're horrible, and they're using their draft pick to get Joe Burrow. So I think they should be pretty good. I think they should shore up that offensive line. I think Joe Mixon, he really has potential. 3,000 yards, basically career. I think he has potential, and he's great. He just has to find a hole and just overcome your offensive line. Honorable mention, Alvin Kamara. Of course, we know Alvin Kamara got hurt, and he didn't play as good as he usually does. So Alvin Kamara is honorable mention, as well as Aaron Jones and Marlon Mack. Aaron Jones, of course, he led the league in rushing touchdowns with 16. He had a little bit over 1,000 yards, 4.6 yards per attempt. So that's pretty great. And then we got Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack, he had probably about the same rushing yards as Aaron Jones had, 8 touchdowns. He didn't have a receiving touchdown, but he's pretty good. Of course, we know he got hurt this year, so unfortunately, that's one of the reasons that Indianapolis fell off the way they did. I think Marlon Mack had potential. He had a really good season last year. I think that he just needs to cut down the injuries, and he'll be okay. And that's just going to be my top 10 running backs.